I'm
All right. Well, I am joined by my good friend Jonathan Sam here to talk about some all nations football. And dude, it is Wednesday. We've got a ton of games rolling around on Thursday. What's your excitement level for the conference that's beginning on Thursday?
I have been thinking about these since we shut down and closed up shop and left Vermilion. I've been excited about the season coming up since that moment, and I don't think that ever leaves, it doesn't ever go away. I I always look to, okay, so what's coming back or what's gonna happen. Yeah, I've been thinking about it for a long, long time actually.
So
Um,
I'm going to start with Class A here because Todd County is riding a 20-game winning streak right now. They won back-to-back championships, and that kid Ty Valandra is coming back off a 1,700 yards rushing season. The quarterback Chris Eller is back. Jonathan, you saw them live last year. What are your thoughts and your take on Todd County?
I honestly, I love what they're doing over there. I love that they're really they're not uh typical, right? I mean, they're not like what everybody else is doing, right? To me, it was they're they're really like a machine, or I think I said during the game like they were like playing a video game, something like that. You know, I that was one of the teams I was thinking about. I was thinking, okay, who's coming back and what's it gonna look like? And yeah, explosive, explosive and ready. I
So
think they were ready, you know.
speaking of explosive, um, I feel like Winnebago is going to be another contender. They've got a Adam James has a terrific program down there. What the guys I'm looking for is Pine Ridge, who made the semifinals last year, and that guy Marvin Richard III is a junior, and he's got a receiver named Dominic Ghostbear who is Division I kind of talent. They've got a good program over there, and I feel like Pine Ridge is going to be a contender.
I I agree with you. I Pine Ridge knocking on the door like they were, and I think what they needed was just that season to kind of try to gel. I don't know that they're like on that level right now with Todd County where you look at them and you think like those guys are molded. They were ready last year. This year, I think we're going to see something different. And I'm excited about them as well.
So,
McLaughlin travels down to Pine Ridge this year for
so
football.
speaking of McLaughlin, kind of a
Yep.
big news. They bumped up to the Class A division this year. There's still a bullhead on that roster, as far as I'm concerned. So some talent returning. Your thoughts on McLaughlin?
McLaughlin is really a team that to me is ready. They're young. They're gonna reload and recycle, but with some guys that moved up, and you're gonna see some that word is just sitting right here for me is explosiveness.
Yeah.
Like that to me is where the game is going now. It feels like we got a track meet and we got a basketball game, res ball style on that football field right now, and it's different. It's a lot different, and it's really exciting. I can't wait to just they toss the coin, let's go, let's get it, and to see where everybody's at. Everybody's explosive, and that excitability that they carry. Everybody's gonna make their adjustments. McLaughlin to me is ready. They're poised. They're gonna bring in the younger talent that they have, and that word should resonate right there. The young talent they're gonna plug into their program. Defense wise, I think is gonna be their staple. Coach Kenny is always preaching that, and always that since day one, way back. I don't even remember how many years it's been. A decade now, I think maybe for Coach Kenny Como. He's got a new assistant, but the defensive end is where they're going to make that first stump or the first noise or the first what we're looking for football. I
So,
think, yeah.
so I would be remiss if I didn't talk about Lower Rule and kind of mention
Oh,
them. I mean, they're the two-time defending champions. Lane Gray
yeah.
is back. They got an all-conference linebacker Nicholas Flute that is back, and Nate Middleton. was an all-conference kicker last year, but Nate Middleton, you know that name Middleton.
Yep.
There's some stud athletes that with the last name of Middleton.
Yeah, absolutely. Kyle and his brother, his twin, those guys were thumpers back in the
Yeah, they
day.
were.
And I think that is the mentality that still resonates over there in Laura Brew. You got to come to hit. You got to come to play. Names and all of that kind of thing. I think that when you walk in there into that field, into that atmosphere, you got to come to hit, and that's what you take when you go into Laura Brew. That's what kind of what you're seeing always. And I'm excited. I think that's what this All Nations thing was supposed to do, right?
Yeah,
Like bring the level where they were and then elevate them. What, this is the fifth year now? Is it fifth or sixth?
fifth, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So from day one on the first day to now, completely different.
I,
Completely different.
I was scrolling through the Todd County, I guess, roster, if you will, earlier today, and they've got like 50 kids out for football. I mean, that's what the purpose of this conference was. Football was dying at a lot of these schools, and now there's participation. Numbers are up. Kids go to school. Uh, that's why you and I love this conference so much and cover it the way that we do,
Oh man.
because there's so many intangibles that are good across Native country for this.
Well, yeah, and the hope to me is always that people are going to take a look now, right? The people like colleges and that next level are going to hear and see the talent that's on display now, the confident talent now, you know,
So
where I guess we can go back it's 5 years, but let's go back 10. A lot of these teams were struggling because they couldn't put 50 kids on the field,
yeah,
right? They could only get 12 on the field, you know. But the 12 that were out there, they came to play, you know. Sometimes they got, it didn't work out the way that they wanted, but they kept coming. They kept getting there because of that spirit. They wanted to play for their team, for their colors, that kind of thing. So now gradually it's just kind of become what it is right now.
so I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the teams up north. Like, listen, Teos Pazina, they got routed in that championship game last year, but it was kind of fluky, you know. It was
Yeah,
7-0, and then Lower Bull scored right before the half and then took off from that. But they've got a good football program. And I also wanted you to mention Standing Rock is another team that you cover personally, and you know those kids up in Standing Rock.
so Standing Rock has decided to leave All Nations and to venture back into the world of the Class B. Um, and what they're bringing back, incredible, incredible athleticism. They got some really strong kids. Uh, but I think for to turn around from All Nations to go back to I'm trying to think of right now offhand the region. I think it might be like the region 7 or something like that, where they kind of travel a little bit now. Like well, they're used to that with All Nations to travel, but it's really tough. It still is that way. So Standing Rock has left All Nations, but they're still excitable. They can still get up and down the field. They can still throw, and that's what their mindset was with All Nations was that they are going to develop their program and hopefully confidently go back into the North Dakota, the ranks and fit in because they're Class B or Class A. Um, so excited to see what they're putting back on out there onto the field. They could get up and down just like as always. The big hitters and that kind of thing. The big guy was like lost to senior to graduation, but them shoes are filled like immediately.
What
So
One,
go ahead.
one of the teams I'm really interested in, like, okay, so if Standing Rock left, White River joined the All Nations Football Conference. And I'll tell you,
Yeah,
White River plays in the Western Great Plains Conference the last couple of years. And they run into the likes of Wall and Philip. Philip was in the semifinals last year. So I'm really interested. They were 3-5 a year ago, and I think they're kind of a sneaky contender to maybe make that Class B championship this year.
I think they got it in their blood right now. Honestly, that's the first thing I think about when I think of White River. I think about the pedigree that them kids, walk around. They're perennial at the state B, right?
Yeah,
In
yeah, for
Class
sure.
B basketball. How many years now? Is it 19 years,
It's getting
right?
up there towards 20.
Yeah. So I mean, that's what they're bringing. Don't sleep on White River. I don't look at a I think we're both looking at that the same way. Like, hey man, that's White River. You know, I can't wait to see them. I was excited to see them. Like, I wondered why they're in. If I think they might just come into the Class B and maybe move up. I don't know, first year, second year,
Yeah.
see what happens. But yeah, I'm excited to see them as well. I wish
So
McLaughlin would have got a game with them.
when do we hear Jonathan Sam on the mic? You get this mystique surrounding you, this legendary broadcasting voice. When are we going to hear you on the mic first? In what game?
Um, this Friday, McLaughlin opens up. They're hosting St. Francis, I think it is,
They
on
are.
Friday. Going to be an early game. I'm hoping to make that the first day or the first game we take off with. We're getting a lot of interest for volleyball. You done volleyball?
Oh yeah, a little bit here and there.
Yeah, I've done a little bit here and there too. So I'm trying to kind of balance it out to make sure we get some of them really talented squads for volleyball too. Um, get them some love. A lot of times they just kind of fly under the radar, but that's kind of where we're at with what we're doing up this way. I think the first night is going to be Thursday night,
Yeah.
St. Francis, probably about 4 o'clock. I think is the tip off. Or I always do that. I always do that. The kickoff, not the tip off.
Right.
There's
Well,
always basketball comes out.
well, Jonathan, as always, it's a pleasure. We're slated to do the All Nations Championship football games at the Dakota Dome later this fall. I'm super excited about that. I watched some of the games from last year. So good luck to you this year. Good luck to everybody in the All Nations Football Conference. And I'll give you the last word on the way out.
Oh man, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, Rich. You know what? I appreciate everything you've done, putting us all including me into this whole thing, and I appreciate all of that. I'm just a guy from the res, just a res kid living the dream, getting to do all this stuff, and then tell the story and paint it, you know, um, for what the kids are doing on the field and in the gym and all of that. And we get a lot of love from a lot of places. There's a lot of change going on around here, but the one constant is always that the people are really good, and they're really good to us here at KLND, and what we get to do. It's exciting and it's a blessing. And for you to include me in all this, that's how I feel, Rich. I really do. I feel blessed, and I'm just thankful for it. I really am.